Okay.
Very good. You were examining?
Yes, John. Can we get the screen on?
The TV's on.
The TV's on.
All right. Mr. Herman, well, that's, well, they're working on the TV. We left off where you heard something woke you up. Can you, just so we could go back in time, what woke you up?
A sound that I thought was a glass plate hitting the floor or breaking when it hit the floor.
And then the second time you woke up, what woke you up?
Amie screaming.
How loud were her screams?
They were very loud.
Matter of People versus Pursehouse. The witness has retaken the stand. Just a reminder that you're still under oath. All right?
Okay.
Very good. You were examining?
Yes, John. Can we get the screen on?
The TV's on.
The TV's on.
All right. Mr. Herman, well, that's, well, they're working on the TV. We left off where you heard something woke you up. Can you, just so we could go back in time, what woke you up?
A sound that I thought was a glass plate hitting the floor or breaking when it hit the floor.
And then the second time you woke up, what woke you up?
Amie screaming.
And how loud were her screams?
They were very loud.
And about how much time from the time you heard that glass breaking earlier on, about how much time passed to when you heard her screaming? Approximately.
I mean, probably around 4 hours, I'm guessing. I'm not guessing, I'm estimating.
So you hear the glass break at some point, and about 4 hours later, you hear her screaming.
Yes.
And could you tell what she was screaming?
It was just blood curdling, just screams. Like, yeah.
And so that woke you up.
Yes.
And so when, as you wake up, do you continue to hear the screaming?
Yes.
And where are you when you wake up?
On the couch in my bedroom.
Looking here at people's number 19C, is the window to the right of this photograph, is that part of your bedroom?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Looking at photograph D of this exhibit, can you tell us what is shown here?
It's showing my bedroom.
Okay, does it show the location where you were sleeping?
It does.
And where would that be?
That would be on the couch in the left corner of the
And
photo.
is that over here where you see some pillows and like a gray
Yep.
blanket or something?
Correct.
So you wake up, and as you wake up, do you continue to hear screaming?
Yes.
And what do you do at that point?
Takes me a minute, kind of wake up, and I really thought she saw a mouse or something, and I gradually get to the door, and I realize it's not stopping, and I yell out to her.
Now, when you say I get to the door, what door are you talking about?
The door to my bedroom at the base of the stairs.
So here on photograph People's Exhibit number 19C, you see what appears to be a door open, and there appears to be a small hallway and then a staircase that leads up. Is that correct?
Yes.
So did you get to that area?
Yes.
And would your door be to the right of that?
Yes.
So as you walk to that little passageway in front of those stairs that lead up, is she still screaming?
Yes.
Are the screams the same or different?
They're The same the whole time.
Is it constant?
It was constant, yes.
And do you hear anything else other than screaming?
No,
Could you make out any voices?
no.
So what happens as you're standing there in that little passageway in front of those stairs?
I yell her name.
And you already yelled it, and what the words that you used were what?
Amie.
And you yelled it in the tone of voice you did yesterday?
Yeah, but louder.
Even louder than what you yelled here in court.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you say that?
Just because I don't think I've ever heard myself yell like that before.
How were you feeling in that moment when you're yelling out her name?
It's really hard to describe. It was really like shock, adrenaline rush, kind of can't believe this is really happening, kind of.
And so after you, when you yell out Amie, is Amie still screaming?
She is when I yell it out.
And how about after you yell it out, what happens? After after you yell out her name, what happens?
I hear what sounded like two people hitting the floor, like somebody taking somebody else down.
Do you object to this? Calls for speculation. You describe the sound.
Well, you said it sounded like if two people were hitting the floor. Is that what you said? Is that
Like
what you-
somebody, yes, like when somebody takes another person down.
Okay, I'll allow it. That's what it sounded to you like that.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what it sounded to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so so when you hear that sound of, it sounds like someone was taken down, do you hear screaming at the same time?
That's around the time I hear it get muffled.
What does that mean around that time it gets muffled?
It sounded like her mouth was being covered.
And why would you say that?
Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Well, I'm not so sure that her or whatever, but when you say, his next question was, and I'll reserve my ruling, why would you say that? What makes you conclude that it sounded like someone's mouth was being covered?
Because it was like the sound of somebody screaming and then screaming through something, like the level, the sound changed as if what it would sound exactly like if you put my hand over my mouth. You know.
I'll allow it to stand.
Okay. So that's how it sounded to you,
Yeah.
as if someone was covering her mouth.
Yes.
And so at that point, did you hear any more screaming from Amie?
On and off.
Was the screaming as loud as before, or was it different?
It was different.
How so?
It was sounded like it was being muffled.
And so for how long did that go on where she sounds like she's being muffled to you?
It's hard for me to remember exact times because, yeah.
What would be your best estimate? Just, was it seconds? Was it a minute? If you even know.
Well, she got choked, or I heard choking also for a minute.
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
That part of the court was sustained.
Right. Well,
Motion to strike.
Certain.
you were not up there, were you?
Disregard.
No.
Sorry?
The jury's to disregard.
They know that whenever I strike something, you're to disregard it, not consider it. Okay. I
Could
told
you-
that before.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Could you see what was happening up there?
No, I couldn't.
Could you see what was being done to Amie up there?
No.
So can you tell us what you heard
Yes.
as far as sounds? So what else did you hear?
I heard her choking.
Objection, Your Honor. Again, calls for speculation.
Okay, sustain as phrased. Now, if he heard what sounded like someone was choking, that's different.
When you say, what exactly do you mean when you say like that she was she sounded like she was choking? What do you mean by that?
Objection, that misstates the witness's testimony.
Well, again,
Misleading.
overruled. You said, did it sound like someone was choking?
It did. It sounded like someone coughing strenuously.
Okay, so with respect to her choking and so forth, I will sustain it with respect to that. I'll leave it as the way you characterized it now.
All right.
Go ahead.
So you said it sounded like someone was coughing, or like
Yes.
she was
Yes.
like she was coughing.
Yes.
So at that point, she's no longer screaming.
Right.
And how long does that go on where it sounds like she's coughing?
That ended pretty quickly. And that actually might have been the point where I started hearing her screams and stuff get muffled.
And Where were you when you're hearing all this? Bless you.
I'm still in the doorway of my bedroom.
Are you here looking at photograph C of 19? Are you right here on the little hallway landing? Are you on the step? Are you, bless you, are you outside of the door towards the patio?
I'm standing like in the door frame, looking up.
I'm going to object as vague as to which door frame.
All right, let's clear that up.
When you say, which door frame are you talking about?
The door frame to my bedroom, it would be on the right through this picture.
Okay, so you're even more inside, you're by this little hallway next to the stairs.
Yes.
Do you say or do anything at this point when you're hearing what sounds to you like Amy's choking?
That's when I started looking for my phone.
What do you say anything or do anything else?
I spend probably the next 4 or 5 minutes jockeying between my bed and the doorway, trying to hear if I can hear what's going on, if anybody's coming, and while jockeying back, looking for my phone, just back and forth.
Now, when you say 4 to 5 minutes, is that your time estimate?
That's an estimate.
Well, you got to let me finish.
Sorry.
Is that the time estimate in your brain that you think that's how long it all took?
Yeah.
Do you ever yell anything else to either Amy or the person or whoever's up there with her?
Before I leave.
And what is it that you yell?
Hey, motherfucker.
Well, can you yell it the same way you yelled it that morning?
Probably not, but I can try. I
Go
can
ahead.
yell it. Hey, motherfucker.
And why did you yell that?
In my head, I planned to run out and try and get help because I couldn't find my phone. And I thought that maybe it would just be a distraction, that he would be worried about me in the house. And I hoped to quietly go out, that he would still be, that he would leave her alone and be more worried about me, was what was going on in my head.
I'm going to object to the characterization as he, since he did not, Mr. Herman did not see anybody.
All right, just stay.
Okay. Well, can the answer stand, or does the court want me to ask that again?
What did you ask it?
Okay. All right. Without indicating whether it's a he or a she up there that's doing this to Amy, just a person. What did you believe by yelling, "Hey, motherfucker"? What did you believe would cause? What did you believe would happen if you said that?
I thought it would distract him,
Well,
or
say-
the person from her that I believed was in there.
And did you have any weapon on you at this point?
No,
Did you have any weapons in your room?
I had some small knives.
In that moment, were you able to grab any of those knives?
I debated it.
Why didn't you run upstairs to help Amy?
Because I mean, you want me to really go through why? I mean, it was a whole thought process.
Yes. Why didn't you go
Okay.
up there and help Amy?
Your Honor, this calls for a narrative.
You can answer that.
Okay. I really thought that somebody needed to know. My plan was to have the cops on the phone and walk up there with the phone on speaker. And I was worried. I'd had sciatica recently, and I just knew I wasn't in fighting shape.
What is sciatica?
It's where you have a pinched nerve and can't stand up. I mean, I got pulled out of a hotel room on a stretcher.
So why else didn't you go and run up there to help her?
I really was worried that if both of us were going to end up dead, and that nobody would know.
Why did you think you would end up dead?
I just didn't know what I was facing. I assumed somebody, whoever was going through all that trouble. I grew up in gun culture. I couldn't imagine somebody.
This is beyond the scope of the question.
Overruled. It's going into his thought process as to why he did not go, aside from being not in shape. You felt that if you went up there, that you would also die or be hurt.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you complete your answer as to why you thought you would also be killed if you went up there?
I couldn't imagine anyone going through that without having a gun. I couldn't picture it.
So that was in your head.
Yes.
And did you have any gun on you?
No.
And after you yelled that statement of, what was the language exactly that you used?
Hey, motherfucker.
Hey, motherfucker. What happened? Did anything happen when you said that? Upstairs, I'm talking. Could you hear whether anything happened upstairs when you said that?
I couldn't hear anything.
Could you hear her screaming when you said that?
That's an answer.
Not at the point where he said that, so that's a different question.
Intermittently.
Huh?
Intermittently.
So,
But it was, yeah, not as much then. It got really quiet, which was really like creepy. Like also,
you keep putting your hand on your face. Is there a reason for that?
no.
Are you nervous?
It just itches and nervous, yeah.
Were you scared at that moment?
Oh, it was like a mix of adrenaline and fear. It's really hard to describe what I was feeling.
So after you yell, hey motherfucker, what happens?
I go out the back door and close it.
And when you say the back door, is that what's shown here on people's 19C?
Yes.
Can you tell us, where do you go?
I run around. If you're facing the back of the house, what would be the right of the house?
So let me see, if I point, would that be where I'm pointing my finger here on this exhibit, which would be, if you're looking at this photograph, the right of the house?
Yeah. Yes.
And what is there in that location to the right of the house?
Like a alleyway.
So like a passageway in the home?
Yeah. Not in the home, but around the home.
And where does that lead to?
The front of the house.
And what's in the front of the house?
Like a front patio.
Looking at people's exhibit number 18. This is just a 3D, just for reference, okay? With the patio on this photograph, if you're looking at it, this is a facing, like from the street, looking straight at the front of the house, correct?
Yes.
And over here to the left, is that the area that you're talking about, the passageway?
Yes.
And then there's a center courtyard?
Yeah. Yes. Front patio. Yeah.
And then what's there in that center courtyard?
Just some furniture and a gate. And
Is that the gate? You kind of see a gate door right here where I'm pointing to?
yes.
Okay, it appears to be like a black gate.
Yeah.
When you got to that area, was the gate open, or what was the condition of the gate?
It was locked.
And so, did you run from where you heard Amie went from screaming to muffled? Did you run to the front of the house, or did you walk? How did you get to the front of the house?
I ran as fast as I could.
And when you got to the front area of the house, did you notice anything at that point?
Yes.
What did you notice?
That the gate was locked.
Did you notice anything related to the French doors that are by there?
No,
Why not?
because I was running and trying to get over the fence with my momentum as fast as I could.
And so how did you get over the gate?
I climbed over it somehow. Like, I don't remember the exact specifics because I was just so
And is part of the gate a wrought iron?
I think almost most of it is.
And as you're climbing this wrought iron gate, does anything happen to you?
Yeah, I get cut up and a few puncture wounds.
Where did you get cut up?
On my stomach, my hand, my arm, in my crotch area, on my legs.
And why did that happen?
Getting over the point, the spikes part of the wrought iron gate.
So did you go up that gate pretty quickly?
Yeah, yes, I did.
I have a 2-page document showing Mr. Michael Herman, may this be Mike Peoples, next in order, Peoples number
You're 20.
20,
Is that A and something?
20A and B.
All right.
And here at 20A, do you recognize the individual depicted in that photograph?
Yes, it's me.
And are you wearing the clothing you were wearing at the time that you climbed over that gate?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
The clothing you're wearing on this photograph, is this the same clothing you were wearing at the time you climbed the gate?
Yes,
How do you know that?
because it's got holes in it.
Looking at photograph B, you recognize what's shown there?
Yes,
What is that?
that's my stomach.
Well, I understand that, but it appears to depict some type of injury, correct?
Yes,
When did you sustain that injury?
when I was climbing over the gate.
Okay, can you describe that injury?
It was like the tip of the wrought iron gate going into my stomach and then like scraping around. As I climb over it, kind of made a hook.
Okay. So yeah. Now, as you're on the gate, are you able to hear anything coming from the home?
No,
You don't hear her screaming?
no.
And so after you climb over the gate, where do you go?
To the next door neighbor's house
Why?
because we had just met him and I was trying to get to a phone.
And I have a DVD with the name Michael Herman, has labeled 2 ring videos for 2080 Mound and 2 911 calls dated February 15, 2020. May this be Mark Peoples next in order, number 21.
21,
And I have a transcript for 1 ring video, which can now be marked as 21A.
yes.
And I have a transcript for a 911 call dated February 15, 2020, approximately 1:11 a.m. May that transcript be marked as 21B?
They're all on the same DVD?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have another transcript for a 911 call dated February 15, 2020, approximately 1:18 a.m. May that be marked as People's number 21C?
Yes.
And I provided court and counsel copies of these transcripts. May I publish the transcript to the jury?
Yes.
So there should be, everyone should have 3 transcripts.
All right.
There's going to be a 1:11 a.m.
Are you talking about the 911 call?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
118.
1:18, and then there's going to be a ring surveillance transcript.
All right.
I'll give you an extra copy. So everyone should have 3 transcripts. 1 transcript is just 1 page with, it has 2 sides to it. Okay.
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
Passing out the last transcript.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You're supposed to have 3.
Everyone's supposed to have 3 transcripts.
But it's making its way down there.
Yeah.
Down here.
Just pass it back. Extras just get passed around. We should just pass all the extras around. We should just let the extras get passed around. Just pass them around. If you already have, please just pass them around. It's coming around.
Anyone missing 111?
You all have 3 transcripts?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Very good. All right, Counsel.
I'm going to show the Ring camera video at this time, Your Honor.
That is the 1 page back and front?
Yes.
All right.
One of the 2080 Mountain videos has sound. The other one doesn't. That's why we only have transcript for 1 Ring video.
All right.
Do you see the timestamp at the bottom right corner?
Yes.
That timestamp shows about 1:08 in the morning and some seconds. Does that appear to be around the time that you went there?
Yes.
And is that you on the video?
Yes.
And how are you feeling at that point when you're knocking on that door?
A little defeated and just really stressed out.
Why do you say I feel defeated?
Because first of all, I couldn't find my phone, and then
Where did you leave your phone?
in my room,
Did you take any keys with you out of your room?
no.
So why didn't you take your phone or your keys out of your room before leaving?
Well, I couldn't find my phone. I wasn't thinking about keys by the time I was leaving.
And so you knock on this door and does anybody respond?
No.
Let me play the second Ring video clip. And this one will not have a transcript.
Okay.
On that Ring video, it appears that you leave that area, that particular home, and where do you go?
Across the street to another neighbor's house,
And why did you do that?
because I thought they might be home and I had met them.
And looking here at people's number 1, does that show the area where that other home's located?
Yes.
If it does it?
Yes.
Can you point with your finger where that would be?
be this house here.
So it's the house right in front of 2078 Mountain Street.
Yes.
And so did you have to go through a gate, or how did you get to that other house?
I had to go through a gate.
Did you have to, was it locked? What did you have to do to get past the gate?
Just open the gate and walk through.
And what did you do at that point?
I rang the first doorbell, which I realized didn't make any sound, and then realized there was a second doorbell to the right and rung that and heard it make a sound.
And then what happened?
Nothing.
Did anyone respond?
They did not.
How did you feel at that point after you knocked on the second house and no one showed up?
Really worried
Why?
because I knew time was ticking. And I was worried what was happening to Amie.
So what did you do next?
Actually was looking around potentially for a rock to throw through a window because I felt they were home and maybe just ignoring it because it was so late. And then I saw somebody walking up the street listening to headphones.
Can you describe this person?
Yeah, it was a black guy walking up the street, taller than me. Yeah,
And was this on Mound Street?
yes,
And did you approach this person?
yes.
And what did you do or say?
I asked him if he could call the police.
And what did he say?
He said yes, or yes.
Did he let you borrow his phone?
Yeah. I was gonna say, really, I think I'd asked him if I could call the cops, or I can't remember if he could call the cops, but I remember I was scared at first because I one of the things I kept thinking was there could be more than one person, and maybe this is someone involved. So I was really like standoffish. I made him call the cops, and I realized like pretty quickly, okay, he's cool, and took the phone from him. I was scared to get too close to him at first.
And where were you when you borrowed the phone from this gentleman?
Right in front of the pretty much right, like catty corner, right in front of this house, but towards
When
the
you say
side.
this house, these houses have numbers on them. Can you tell
Yeah.
us which one?
Well, I was right in front of, I was like right here,
Okay.
right in front of this house across the street.
Okay, so you're talking about the
Yeah,
house in
that
front
side.
of 2078, across the street from 2078.
Yes. Yeah.
And from that distance, at this point, when you're with this gentleman, are you able to hear any sounds from Amie's house?
No.
And how much time has passed? How much time could you estimate has passed from the time you left Amie at the house to when you're now talking to this gentleman about borrowing his phone? Approximately.
I would estimate maybe in between 5 and 10 minutes. It's the best I can estimate.
Does he immediately let you borrow his phone?
Yes.
And is 911 called?
Yes.
Going back to People's Exhibit number 21, I'm going to play the first 911 call, which is 1:11 a.m., as you will hear in the audio. And I'm going to give you a copy of the transcript and have you read along. I'm going to ask you some questions, Mr. Herman.
Somebody just attacked my roommate. We're at 2806 Mound Street. I don't know. I just had to run out of the house because I couldn't find my phone. I couldn't find a weapon. I couldn't find anything.
How was he assaulted? What happened?
I don't know. I was downstairs. I heard screaming. Please get a cop here.
Okay, now you ask me these questions, okay? They're very important. What exactly happened? You didn't
You're a
know.
little bitch. What? What?
Are you ready to answer my questions, sir?
Are you? Yes. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Did you see anything?
No.
Okay, so
No.
what did you hear?
I heard her screaming, and I heard her being.
All right, so I'm going to send out if somebody's screaming, okay? Since you didn't see anything. You don't know if she's being attacked,
Yeah.
you're not sure.
Yes, I know she's being attacked. I heard her got thrown to the ground.
Okay, all right, so 2086 Mound Street. Is that a house
Yeah.
or an apartment, sir?
It's a house.
Okay. And this is who's screaming inside?
Let me pause it at 1 minute and 5 seconds. Now here, you tell the 911 operator that on line 19, I heard her screaming and I heard her being, what were you going to say?
Objection calls for speculation.
What, do you know what you were gonna say, sir? Do you have a
Yeah.
recollection of what you were gonna say?
Yeah, I was going to say choking.
What?
where it says, I heard her screaming, and I heard her. Yeah, actually, I was being attacked.
What?
I heard her being attacked. I don't know for sure. No, what I was going to say. I can't complete that thought. I mean, I know generally, but I don't know the exact word I was going to use.
Well, you don't have to tell us the exact words, but what was your thought at that point, if you remember?
Objection irrelevant.
Let's stay. Let's move on, Council.
Looking at line 23, where you say, I know she was being attacked, I heard her getting thrown to the ground. Is that what you remember happening that night?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Can't even think right now. Amie Harwick.
Who is she to you, sir?
She's my roommate.
Okay. And she's screaming for help?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and your name?
Michael Herman.
And what is your callback number, Michael?
I don't have my phone. This is somebody else's phone.
Okay, would it be okay to contact you back at this phone?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right. And so you're also hearing somebody hitting her, is that correct?
Yes, I heard something like that, yes.
Okay.
She wouldn't answer.
I want to pause it at 1 minute and 40 seconds. Right here on line 12, when the operator's asking you, and so you're also hearing somebody hitting her, is that correct? And you say, yes, I heard something like that. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm thinking when she got choked and thrown to the ground.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was yelling up there.
Okay, so I'm just gonna send out as her screaming, okay, since we don't know what is going on?
Yes.
All right, and where are you gonna be, so you can direct me?
I'm right up front. I'm right up front.
Are you black, white, Hispanic, or Asian, so they know who to look for?
What now?
Are you black, white, Hispanic, or Asian?
White.
Okay,
White.
and what color shirt will you have on?
White.
Okay, that way they can find you, okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Michael. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Looking back at page 2, where you said, line 13, you said, my God, I'm going to hang up on this bitch. Why did you say that?
I felt really defeated, and I just wanted somebody there quick. I knew something was really wrong.
Did you feel that the operator was believing what you were saying?
No, and it was again part of just feeling defeated, like here we go again, you know.
And we're going to play the second. Now, after you make that 911 call, what happens?
I go to the house and I'm starting to yell up to the window.
You go up to which house?
Amy's house.
And so are you in front of your house?
Yes.
Okay. Are you right outside the gated area?
Yes, I'm in the driveway right up front.
By the way, could you see if there are any lights on the 3rd floor?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, there were lights on the 3rd floor.
On which?
On the 3rd floor into that media room area.
You could see
That's
that the
what I was-
light.
Yeah, I was trying to look in from the driveway. I was backing up and trying to like get an angle to look through to see if I could see her.
Could you see anything as the lights were on the 3rd floor in that media room?
No.
Do you know if the lights appeared to be on in the mid-level, in like the living room area?
Honestly, I can't remember.
Okay. And so you said you were in front of the house, and what did you do?
I was yelling up to Amie.
Can you use the same language you used that night, if you remember, here in the courtroom? As to what were you yelling at this point to Amie?
I was just yelling her name, like trying to get her attention and see if she stood up and where I could see her.
Well, can you do it the way you did it that night? I know. Try your best.
I was just yelling like Amie, Amie. Yeah.
Did you get any response?
No.
Did anyone respond from within that house?
No.
So then, could you hear her screaming or being choked, anything like that?
No.
And so, about how long does that go on before something else happens?
I guess a few minutes, and then I think I called 911 again after that.
Why did you do that?
It just, to me in that moment, it felt like an eternity.
And what was your intention in calling 911 again?
To hurry them up.
Have the second 911 call. This exhibit to read along, 21C. I'm going to play that now.
February 50, 2020, 01:18 and 12 seconds.
911 emergency operator 609.
Yeah, I'm wondering why it's taking the cops so long to get here.
Can you provide me the address so I can look it
Yeah,
up?
2086 Mountain Street.
01:18
This is
and
absolutely
22
incredible.
seconds.
Has something changed since you originally called?
What now? What?
Has anything changed since you originally called?
Yes, he's not answering. Like I'm outside her fucking window yelling and nobody's answering. You guys need to get a cop here quick.
Sir, the officers are on the way. I'm asking if there's anything I can update them.
22 seconds.
So there, in that 911 call, on line 9, you're saying that she's not answering
Yes,
and that you're yelling at the window.
yes,
And is that what you, when you're saying yelling at the window, is that what you described a few moments ago here in court?
yes.
And how soon after that 911 call ends do police officers arrive at 2086 Mountain Street, approximately?
I think maybe 5 minutes or less.
And what happens when the police arrive?
They get out of the car, and I'm explaining to them that we'll need to climb over the fence to get in the house.
And how's your state of mind at that point when you're talking to the police officers?
I thought I wasn't in shock. I was talking to myself, but like it. And looking back at my videos, and I was really amped up, like just really amped up.
So have you been able to watch body-worn video from the police officers
Yes,
showing you on the body-worn video?
yes.
And so what do you tell the officers? Do you suggest to the officers to do anything?
To climb over the fence.
You did not have keys to unlock that gate?
No,
And where were your keys to unlock that gate?
in my room.
And so do you have to climb back over that gate?
Yes.
And do the police officers climb over that gate?
Yeah, they climbed over the fence area, more of the fence. I climbed over the gate for some reason.
And then what happens?
We walk around the house and go around back of the house. And
Let me ask you something before we get to that. When you left your room and then ran out to the front, was Amie Harwick anywhere on your patio at that point when you left?
no,
So now that you're coming back, do you make it back to the patio area with the police officers?
yes.
And what do you see when you turn the corner and see the patio?
At first, I wasn't sure what I was looking at, but it was Amie.
And how would you describe her condition?
Really bad.
What does that mean?
She was struggling to breathe. Her eyes were bulging.
Was she talking?
No,
Did you touch her at all?
I couldn't get too close to her. The officers were kind of directing me.
And how did you feel at that moment?
Beyond defeated. Just to me, in my mind, like every decision I made, like the worst case scenario just unfolded. Like I can't describe how I felt. Like there aren't words.
At that time, did you try to provide officers as much information about what you heard that night prior to seeing Amie on the patio? Was that too long of a question? Maybe.
Yeah, can you rephrase?
Did the officers ask you about what happened?
Yeah, yes.
And did you try to tell them to the best of your ability what you had heard that night, that morning?
Yes, my best ability at the time.
Did you tell them that Amie Harwick was afraid of an ex-boyfriend?
I did.
Did you see paramedics arrive at that location at the back patio?
Yes,
Did you see them attend to her?
yes.
Were you still there when her body was taken away to the
Yes.
hospital?
Yes.
And how long did you remain at the house where you were living at before you were taken somewhere else?
I don't know exactly how many hours, but by the time I left, it was daylight.
Did you show some detectives what happened that night there?
I did.
Is-
I did.
Did you tell them where you were when you heard things happen?
Yes.
And did you tell detectives, to the best of your ability, what happened that night, that night and that morning?
Yes.
And you previously testified at a preliminary hearing
Yes.
where you were asked questions by the prosecution and the defense?
Yes.
And did you answer it to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Now, as far as what you do for a living, what you were doing for a living at that time, you were selling products, is that correct?
I was kind of selling some products in an intermediary for companies looking for product.
What kind of products were these?
Sex toys.
And where would you sell them?
Well, that's it. I would more work between the retailers and the manufacturers.
And do you have a 1995 felony conviction for possession for sale of marijuana?
Yes.
How old were you back in 95?
20 or 21?
Had you ever met the defendant who's here in court, Gareth Pursehouse, before?
No.
After Amie was taken away by the paramedics that date, did you ever see her again?
No.
I have nothing further on.
Cross-examination.
Thank you.
Well, actually, I'm sorry, I do have a follow-up question.
Good.
Looking here at People's Exhibit number, next in order, People's number 22, photograph showing some French doors. Photograph A, you recognize what's shown there?
Yes.
Are those the French doors leading into the living room?
Yes.
I'm going to show you another photograph. B, it's a much more clear photograph. You see what's depicted there?
Yes.
You see what appears to be some damage there?
Yes.
Was that damage there before that morning?
No.
Looking at people's next in order, this would be a document with 4 photographs showing a statue. May this be my people's next in order, number 23?
Yes.
Looking at photograph 23A. You recognize what's shown there?
Yes.
What is that?
It's like this Hindu statue.
And is this next to the fence that divides the property, looking here at People's One, between 2086, where you live, and 2078?
Yes.
Is this towards the back of the patio
It is.
of where you live?
Yes.
Looking at photograph 23B, is that a close-up of that statue?
Yes.
Looking at photograph, well, does this statue appear to have various arms?
Yes.
See that? Looking at photograph 23C, and is that the lower part of the statue?
It's an arm off the statue.
You see that there where there's a photo ID number 9.
Yes.
And looking at photograph D, which is a close-up of that. Do you see that there?
Yes,
All right. And this is next to the fence, correct?
correct.
And so, had you seen that before, that arm had been broken from that statue before
No.
that night?
No.
I have nothing further.
All right, counsel?
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Herman. Good morning. So you had lived with Amie starting in October of 2019, is that about right?
Roughly. I don't remember the exact month, but yeah, roughly.
Okay. And you got to meet Amie through your friend Robert Koshland,
Yes,
and you previously lived with Robert Koshland before moving in with Amie.
I did.
And how long did you live with him?
Objection relevance?
He's gonna be a witness, is he?
Yes.
No, I don't know.
Little over a year.
So when you moved in October, you were traveling to China that month in October.
Yeah, I believe so.
So out of the 3.5 months that you lived there, you were traveling about 50% of the time?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay. And you lived on the bottom floor of this 3-story home, is that correct?
Correct.
So separating your floor, which was the bottom floor, and the area upstairs where Amie's bedroom and the media room were, there was a living area separating those 2 floors, is that
Yes.
correct? And on the living area, there was a living room, a dining area, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a desk area?
That's all on that second floor.
Yes. And the stairway that leads up from your level to the living room area, that kind of divides the house down the middle.
I guess roughly.
And so above your bedroom would be the kitchen, dining room area.
Yes.
And Amie's bedroom would be above the kitchen, dining room area.
Yes, roughly.
Okay. Now, when you were talking yesterday and describing the floor plan of the house, there were a couple of rooms that you discussed. And just to be clear, the laundry room that is adjacent to your bedroom area and the bathroom that you have, is that accessible from inside the house?
It's not.
And the garage that's in the front of the house, 2-car garage,
Yes.
is that accessible to the inside of the house?
No.
All right, so when you leave the garage, you have to go around the front of the house to get inside through that wrought iron gate. Is that correct?
Or you could go around to the backside to the left too, but yes.
And when you would come home, which way would you usually go back into the house?
Well, I didn't drive, so I just would walk through the front gate.
So you go through the front gate.
Yeah.
And what about Amie's practice? Would she usually go in through the front gate too?
Usually.
And that front gate had to be locked with a key?
It didn't have to be, and it wasn't a lot.
Well, okay, so if you wanted to lock it, you needed a key.
Yes.
Okay, but it wasn't locked a lot.
Right. I mean, if you wanted to lock it, you needed a key, but it had a latch. I mean, it was like a doorknob.
Okay, so it was not routinely locked.
It was at night. We had gotten in the habit of leaving it open during the day for Amazon packages, and then in the routine of the last person in would lock it.
And do you remember saying previously at any point that Amie used to sometimes forget to lock that gate?
Yes.
Is that just the time?
What period are you talking about?
Do you recall saying that on February 15th, 2020?
I don't remember when I said it, but I vaguely remember saying it.
So it would be a true statement to say that Amie often or sometimes forgot.
Yes.
I guess the time period.
Well, you lived there for a 5-month period, so in the 5 months,
Yes, in the time you lived there.
yeah,
Sure.
not all of it.
Thank you. All right, so When this incident happened and the first police officers arrived, you were very agitated, is that correct?
Yeah, I guess. It's real hard to describe how I was feeling.
Was it a combination of a lot of feelings?
There's a lot of adrenaline, yes.
Would you say you were fearful?
Yes,
Would you say you were frustrated?
yes,
Was part of your frustration the feeling that no one was taking your explanation seriously?
that was a part of it,
And that included the 911 operator?
yes.
And did you feel that same way when the first police officers arrived?
A little, yeah, at first.
Did you feel that you needed to motivate them to take this seriously?
A little.
Did you feel like did you remember actually getting so frustrated with them that you cursed at them and walked away from them?
I don't remember that.
All right, let me ask you something. Before coming to court yesterday to testify, you said you got to look at some video.
Yes.
So let me just ask you what you did to prepare for your testimony at this trial.
I'm going to judge this argumentative.
Overruled, not allowed.
Did you talk to the prosecutors in preparation for your testimony today?
Yes.
And when did you do that?
I guess yesterday.
And did you speak with Mr. Avila?
Yes.
And did you also speak with his co-counsel?
No.
Did you speak with the detectives?
Yes.
Which detectives?
I'm sorry, I forget your name.
Detective Carranza?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you speak to any other detective?
No.
Did you read any transcripts?
I did.
Do you know how many transcripts you read?
I don't. There's only a couple.
Or did you read your testimony from the preliminary hearing?
I believe I did.
And did you read transcripts of any of the body-worn video?
No.
Did you read transcripts of your interview with the detectives on February 15th, 2020?
I believe so. I don't, hold on, the interview was, yeah, I did.
And you watched body-worn video?
Yes.
About-
Not yesterday, or this trip, the trip before,
Okay, and when was that trip before?
when we had the other hearing.
Okay, so that was in 2021.
Yes.
So prior to the preliminary hearing, you had had an opportunity to look at body-worn video,
Yes.
and you got to observe what you said to police officers
Yes.
throughout the evening of February 15th. Is that correct? Or the early morning hours of February 15th?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall testifying at the preliminary hearing that this is at the preliminary hearing in 2021, that you said you don't remember now as well as I did then a lot of things. This has been a little traumatic.
Yes.
And were you saying when you testified to that under oath in 2021 that your memory at the preliminary hearing was not as good as on the date this
I'm going
event
to check
transpired?
as vague as to what he was referring to and page of the preliminary hearing
Well,
transcript.
just in general, his recollection, his memory during the preliminary hearing wasn't as good as the day of the incident. Is that your question?
Yes.
Would that be a true statement, sir? That your memory is better on the date of the incident versus the day of the preliminary hearing?
For the most part, but there were things I remembered after the incident.
But were there things you remembered after the preliminary hearing?
I've obsessed over this so much, it's hard to remember what I've remembered when I've spent so much time thinking about this. It's hard to remember when, as far as timeline goes.
Right. So you put a lot of thought into this, trying to put the pieces together and figure out what happened.
Objection argumentative.
Sustained as phrased.
Would you say that Have a moment. Would you say that you could be over-processing in your head, but you've been thinking about this obsessively?
Vegas the context.
Well, I don't know what you're referring to, counsel.
Well, do you recall having a phone conversation with detectives on February 20th, 2020?
I don't know the exact date it was. There was a couple conversations, throughout time. But
Okay, so around February 2020, do you remember talking to detectives and telling them that I could be over-processing in my head, but I've been thinking about this for days, obviously?
yes, I remember something like that in the conversation.
And would you say that's been true in the intervening years since this incident has happened?
I'm
You've
going
been
to
doing
object
the
this.
same
I'm
thing?
going to object this overbroad, referring to February 5th, 2020, and then referencing other dates.
The court will allow it.
Do you need me to
Your
re-ask?
statement, sir?
Do you want me to re-ask?
No, because it's been a process. It's really hard to explain. Like the first 6 to 9 months were really difficult. But COVID had just happened. I was basically alone with my thoughts for a year, and being in lockdown. That was pretty close to when we came here for that first hearing. I was in really bad shape.
And since the preliminary hearing, you said you have not remembered any new details?
Vague as to new details.
Just details in general about the incident?
Yes.
Okay.
I did remember a couple more details.
And you testified to them today?
No.
Let me ask you this. The first officers who arrived at the scene, did you tell them that you heard muffled screams?
I assume so. I don't remember exactly word for word what I told the officers.
So
then.
it's your recollection that you did tell them you had heard muffled screams?
Objection. Misstates the testimony.
Right, sustained, as phrased.
So you don't know whether or not you told them?
I don't remember how I told them.
Okay. Did you tell the first officers who responded that Amie was yelling the entire time? She was upstairs yelling when I ran out of the house.
Yeah, I don't remember that specifically.
And today you testified that she was not screaming the entire time. Is that correct?
Yes.
The second responders that came, did you tell them that you heard muffled screams?
I don't even.
I'm going to object if he was asked these questions.
Well, the question isn't whether he was asked the question, but whether he told them. Whether it was because of a question that was posed or he told them on his own. The court will allow it.
There was a lot of questions from a lot of people. I can't remember specifically. I remember in general telling them what had happened several times to different people.
And you recall specifically telling them there were muffled screams?
No, I don't remember specifically telling them in those words. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Do you recall saying several times throughout your encounters with law enforcement on February 15th that Amie was screaming the entire time and you heard her screams as you ran out of the house.
Compound as to various law enforcement officers.
Court will allow.
It sounds like you're asking me the same question over and over, but I don't remember telling them specifically that I heard her screaming the entire time. I just don't remember saying that specifically.
And your recollection today is that she was not screaming the entire time.
Objection, argumentative.
No, overruled. Is that your recollection today, sir?
Yeah, no, there was like a one period where it was like dead silent for a little bit, like. And I'm pretty sure I told the detectives that too.
So, if I asked you, did you tell the detectives that, what would your answer be?
My answer for you, I'm pretty
Vegas
sure
had told them what?
Told them that she was screaming the entire time?
Yes,
Oh, you were going back to that?
yes.
I just told you. It's asked and answered that. I don't remember specifically telling them that. But
Okay.
I could have.
Okay. But if that's what you told them, your testimony today contradicts that, correct?
Right,
Argumentative.
that's been asked and answered. He stated, as he sits here today, she wasn't screaming the entire time. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, that's
All right.
correct.
That's a long answer.
Thank you. And with the muffled screams, you have no specific recollection of telling any officer or detective on February 15th that you heard muffled screams?
I can't recall like exactly how I described it to the officers at that time. I could have said muffled screams. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Did you tell any of the officers or detectives on February 15th that you heard the sound of a plate breaking?
And what date was that?
February 15th.
Okay, are you referring to the phone call I had with the
I'm talking
detectives?
about the date, the morning of February 15th, where you were woken by Amie
Okay,
screams?
okay, I'm just bad with the date, the timeline part. No, I didn't. I didn't remember that for a couple weeks.
And who was the first person you told about hearing something break when you remembered a couple weeks later?
It was Robert Koshland.
And after you spoke to Robert Koshland, that's when you called the police?
Yeah, I didn't think it was that important, and Robert felt it was, and told me to call the detectives and tell them.
And isn't it true that on February 20th, the date that you called the detectives, that was the first time you ever told the detectives that you heard anything like choking?
I don't remember. I just don't remember.
But your testimony today is that you heard choking on February 15th.
Yeah, and I believe in the 911 call, they cut me off as I'm saying it.
Oh, I didn't hear that, so.
Look at
We'll-
the transcript.
So when the 911 operator asked you if an ambulance was needed, you said no.
I said I didn't know.
You didn't know. But if somebody were being and so you weren't convinced that she might need an ambulance?
I was just flipped out, wanting them to get the cops there. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I could have been thinking better, sure.
You were in a state of panic, is that true?
And shock, yeah.
And panic?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about. So this won't fall. You told several officers on February 15th that you were in a panic. Is that correct?
I don't specifically remember that. I could have.
Okay, so far we've seen a 3D recreation of Amie Harwick's home.
Yeah.
Other than the scale, does the 3D rendition of 2086 Mound fail to include outside foliage and furniture and everything else inside the house?
You mean outside the house?
Outside and inside?
Oh, I didn't get a good look inside, but yeah, there's missing foliage on the fence on the outside.
Okay. And the trees near the balcony, are those also missing?
I can't remember.
I believe there's been another copy of this, and I'm gonna mark this as defense name, a defense next in order.
Good. E?
Okay, so you testified previously that this is the back door that leads to your living area,
Yes.
and that shows the staircase that goes up to the living room area.
Yes.
Defense next in order, Your Honor.
Ref?
And is this showing that same staircase from the landing in the living room area?
Yes.
And you can see it has a low ceiling as you descend the staircase.
Actually, what you're capturing is just where the low ceiling starts, about halfway or a little more down. It's actually pretty high, right after where you can see, I don't know if you want me to point at it, but that lip at the top?
Yes.
You have a
After
pointer
that.
there, sir?
Yes.
Wonderful.
After that, it's pretty high.
Okay. So, but the stairway has a low ceiling.
No, about the last third to half of the stairway has a low ceiling.
And when you ascend the stairs, is this the landing area?
Is that G?
Defense G. Thank you.
As you ascend, yes,
And what is this at the top of the stairs?
it's a statue.
It's a statue? And was that statue present on the evening of February 14th and the morning of February 15th?
It was.
Was this jacket also hanging there?
Yeah, I assume it was. I didn't notice it until like the next day or two.
Defense next in order, H.
HS.
I'm showing you a screenshot from some body worn video.
Yes,
As you can see the date there?
Yes.
3/5/2020?
yes,
Is that the date that you did a walkthrough with detectives of 2086 Mound and described for them what your recollections were from the date of February 15th?
I can just assume so based on the date on the photo.
And does it appear to you that in this frozen frame of the body worn video that you're recreating screaming up the staircase?
Yes,
So would this be a fair depiction of you screaming up the staircase, Amie?
I can't remember if that was Hey Motherfucker or Amie.
Okay, so you basically were in the same position for each of the screams.
I don't remember.
This would be defense
Your eye.
I. Thank you. So, showing you defense I, is this the same dummy that is at the top of the staircase leading from your living area?
Yes,
And so this is the staircase that leads up to Amy's living area.
it is.
And here is another photograph showing the same staircase.
Is that Jay
Yes,
Council?
thank you. This shows the same staircase leading up to Amy's living area from another angle.
Yes,
And I'm going to point to something here. Do you know what this is here?
yeah,
What is that?
that's a camera.
A camera? So it's like a Nest or Nest camera.
Yes,
And here for the record.
I'm pointing to, there's like an antelope head, and if you go down about a little bit, there's like a dark object that looks like it's a figure 8 shape.
Sort of in the corner of the roof, I mean the ceiling.
Yes.
All right.
And when police officers arrived and as they talked to you that evening, were you making them aware that there was Nest video to be retrieved to help them in their investigation of this case?
I can't remember exactly when it came up, but I do remember by the morning with the detectives talking about it, making sure that they knew when we're working on that.
I'm sorry, what?
That they knew when we're working on that.
Okay. So you felt it was important that law enforcement know that there was Nest cameras operating at that time?
Yes, I just remember,
Objection Foundation operating at that time.
Well, there were cameras at that time, whether they're operable or not. So I'll sustain it with respect to that, but why don't you rephrase your questions?
Thank you. Were you aware of whether or not they were operating?
not at that moment, no.
But in the days prior to this incident, were you aware they were operating?
They've been operational since I've lived there.
So you have no, Amie never told you anything about them not functioning properly?
Objection calling for hearsay or negative hearsay.
So sustain negative or something?
Well,
Yeah, but the sustain on hearsay, I don't know about negative, but here, sustain.
So do you have any reason to believe that the Nest cameras were not operating?
Objection Foundation.
Sustain.
So as far as you know, the entire time you lived there, they were operating?
I actually think they were out a couple times. But they did operate. She had sent me video.
She had sent
Of
you
them.
video in the past?
Yeah,
And was it within like a week of this incident?
I can't remember.
All right, let's take a morning break, if you will, for about 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen.